Good morning. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good.
Good morning, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good. You people are able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Just after the completion of your second semester, you people will be getting a 45-day period where you have to do a desk research, or you will have to do some kind of people who are already working, they can do their projects. So it will be a period of for your summer internship project. Either it will be a desk research, depending upon which one you prefer. If you prefer going to a company and doing the research, then that's okay. And then if you want to do a market research, that's also okay. If you want to do a desk research, that's also okay. Depending on whatever you are choosing, there will be a 45-day period where you will be doing your research and you will be submitting a report. After submission of your report, you will be like you will be attending your third sem. Like third sem will start somewhat around in say around September and yeah, October 1st. And when you start with your third sem, many of you might be there who want to take a dual specialization. Like this semester, you will be choosing your major specialization. Along with your major specialization, you will also have a minor specialization. You are eligible to take a minor specialization. Make sure that you take your minor specialization in the third semester. Don't like university does have a rule of saying like somebody can study the whole of the major subjects in the third semester, and then in the fourth semester they can cover the minor specialization. Don't do that. Choose your minor specialization right in the third semester, so that you will have a combination of major minor in the third, as well as in the fourth also you will have a combination of major minor. Do not go for such kind of things like you'll have a total major combination in third semester, and then you'll have a total minor combination in fourth semester. That's creating a lot many of problems. Like this time the students, your seniors have faced a lot much of problem. So what you do is, when you go for third semester, when you are selecting your minor subjects, like if at all you people are selecting your minor subjects, select it in your third semester, keep a combination of major minor in your third semester, then again in fourth semester keep that combination of major minor. Anyway, you have to complete 10 credits in between those time period. Am I clear? Remember that when you are in third semester, you'll go for a combination of major minor if at all you are going for a minor specialization. If it is a total major specialization, forget it. So we'll start with your, I have shared my screen, right? Why is that screen not visible? Screen is visible to you, right? Yes, it became.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So we will be talking about the last part of your second unit, that is called as your career development. When we talk about career development, this is actually career planning that we talk about when you join organizations. When you join an organization, every organization is responsible for planning the career, or like every organization is responsible for fulfilling your career goals and aspirations. Like along with the organization's own goals that has to be fulfilled by the employees, every organization has also to take the responsibility of its employees to fill up their career goals and aspirations. So organizations, they provide opportunities to fulfill them. Like whenever there is a mismatch between the employee experience and dissatisfaction, and if whenever there is a mismatch between the organizational goals and objectives, that and if at all there is any kind of opportunity that exists, like employees withdraw themselves from them. So the HR department plays a major role, like it decides on, or it plans the career of the people. Like it is just a process where the career objectives like set up, career objectives are set up and appropriate developmental programs of that organizations are planned and are given to the employees. Such a planning process is actually like setting of career objectives, determining the appropriate educational and developmental programs, and determining what skills that are need to be improved, whether it is needed in a short range or a long range career objectives, or how they are going to put that employee, or how it is going to how an employee is going to manage his or her work. It is a very ongoing process and it helps the employees to manage the work. Now when we talk about a career development, there are three stages of career development. The first one is called as career anchor, second one is called as career planning, then we come to career stages. Now whenever like what is the basic importance of career, like for organization, it helps to align the staffing with strategy. Like whenever they are in the recruitment process, whenever they have done a selection, they staff the people with the strategy of an organization, and whenever it comes to employees, it is just a source of identification and it is a factor in quality of life. Like it helps in improving the quality of life of the employees. Now we talk about the career anchors. What are these career anchors? These are actually the characteristics of a role, or these are the characteristics of a job that individual is drawn into. Like this career anchors are actually aligned with the individual's perception of their talents and skills and motives. Like it is also aligned with the needs and attitudes and the values of that person. It actually helps individuals to discover their anchor. Like for example, somebody who is very good in communication will always look for being a spokesperson role, or will always look for something where he or she needs to create a content. So career anchors are like each of us, when we are doing some kind of whenever we are doing some kind of job, or each of us when we are in a career, there are actually certain things that that brings satisfaction to us, that brings an opportunity to succeed, or that brings happiness to us. And these factors are actually the career anchors. Okay, like something which helps you helps in understanding yourself, or something which helps you in understanding what you are good in. That is what it is called as your career anchor. Now these career anchors are actually of different, there are different types of career anchors. There is something called as a technical anchor. There is something called as a technical anchor. Technical anchor is like people will have a very high score. They are really good in specific things. Like they are actually called as specialists, or they are called as experts. So they derive satisfaction by facing challenges related to their skills. Like for example, when engineering, if you're people talking about people from engineering background, where they are very good in solving of what their subject matter is, they are actually specialists in those areas. So they are the experts in solving the specialist knowledge, or they are very much experts in solving their own study areas. Next one is your managerial anchor. Managerial anchors are like people who manage and they lead others. They actually look for responsibility, they look for accountability, and they look for new ways of solving the problems by working through others. These people have less technical accountabilities. They actually like to manage many cross-functional teams. Then the next one is your security and stability anchor. Security and stability anchor is someone like they avoid risk in relation into their careers. Like they often value security. They often value job security rather than the role that they are working, or rather than the salary that they are working. They very much value, for example, pension. So they believe that if they are working for a longer period of time in this particular organization, at the end, they will be receiving a pension. So they also look out for, like, these are the individuals who value security and stability. And if there is any kind of risky promotions that they are having, they kind of avoid it. Then the other one is your autonomy anchor. Autonomy anchor are actually people who they value or they like having a control, and they love the freedom of how they are working. Like they value their own decision making process, and they very much seek for flexibility in their careers. Like somebody who is a freelancer. Somebody who's a freelancer would often like to work alone, and they would love to run their own business just to ensure that there is no external interference. Then there is an entrepreneur anchor. It is basically like they value creativity. They value the ownership of running their own business. They here seek they actually are a people who love to run in this cutthroat competition, and then people who are actually bored easily get into this entrepreneurial anchor. Like they want challenge every time. They want to have a challenge, and there are like these are the drivers of their success. They often want to collaborate, and they often want to share their workloads. But then these people are this anchor is some kind of anchor where once they are successful in their own business, they immediately leave it and move to the other part of the business. Now, the next that we talk about is your career planning, which is actually the subject matter of what we will be deciding. Career planning is where you are building your own career through any kind of available career opportunities, even if it is an opportunity that you're getting in your job, or even if opportunities that you're seeking in any other aspect. Career building also involves like realizing the career goals that the organization expects, like the employee will perform, and then like they have to show the employee have to perform, and that they have to show it to the recruiters that the trust that these recruiters have placed in them is something which is which is right, and something which can be pursued further. It is actually a process in which like the employee use the available opportunities within the organization to further their personal benefits. Suppose in a particular organization you aim to climb the higher steps, like you aim to go to a certain position, then you also see like how you are going to work on, what are the projects that you will be taking on, so that it will take you to that certain position. And at the same time you have to understand that there are certain organizational compliances in terms like what is a promotion, how the promotion policies of that organization, how organization is going to view you, and like how if you're joining a particular company, how that company is doing your career planning. So whenever it comes to career planning, there are 5 important steps. Assessing yourself matlab you have to understand what your priorities are, what your personal interests are, what are your strengths and weaknesses, along with your appropriate skill set. Like these reviews, when you do these reviews, it helps you in getting a realistic idea of where you are exactly and how you are going to climb the career in your organization. And while you are assessing yourself, it will give you a transparent picture of the current skill set that you have with the specific job description, and what are the future skill set that you will be requiring when you will be making a move in the organization. So this assessing self is actually a very great tool in exploring the growth opportunities. Here you can actually look out for opportunities, and you can ask your friends and families. You can visit job fairs. You can understand like where exactly you are standing and how you are going to climb in an organizational ladder. Second is finding career opportunities that suit your strengths. Like this is one very important move in your career. Like you have to understand like what you are made in. Like people often do a mistake when they are choosing for specialization. Jaise ki, like this has been a trend for the last 10 years. I had seen people always see like हमें जॉब कहाँ पे मिलेगा. Like even if you do not have a background of that, what you look for is हमें जॉब कहाँ पे मिलेगा, and then you take a specialization where you have no background of it. Now when you take a specialization and you have no background of it, you yourself is creating a kind of competitors over there. आप यहाँ पे आपके खुद के लिए ही competitors कर रहे हो. Like you are not measuring your self worth where where exactly your liking has there. Like somebody says like there is a ample job opportunities in finance, there is some ample job opportunities in marketing. You might not be a marketing person, you might not have that specialties, you might not have that skill set, but then you heard someone saying like there are ample job opportunities in marketing, you jump into it. So this is where you go wrong, this is where your total career planning goes wrong. Okay, like people who are into a profession, who are into a profession of HR, like they do not understand what exactly this HR is, but then they find it very easy in studying and find it very easy in clearing the exams. They go for a specialization of HR, but then HR as such requires a specific skill set, it requires a specific personality type, it requires a specific kind of characteristics for its people to be absorbed. So what in at the end what it results is, it kind of results in unemployment, it kind of results in frustration among the people. So finding the career opportunities, when we say, it is once your self assessment is done, you have to do a reality check of the skills that you have. Okay, here you have to outline all the steps, like what is a organization that you are targeting, and whether you have that technical knowledge or whether you have that behavioral knowledge. And then you do a networking is where you start searching for the people who are either in the competitive companies or who are either in that companies. Once you are into that networking, start making your start making your move here, like contact, ask them whether this company is going to give you an opportunity, even if it is a very small opportunity, even if it is an internship opportunity, grab onto it. Okay, so this I'll just give you a very small example of myself. Like when we were doing MBA, we were actually clueless. Like we do not have manufacturing organizations in our part of the state, so we were clueless. Like what exactly does exactly does things happen? Unlike you, I had also taken HR specialization, and there I thought like in the initial stages, it is like HR's role is only doing recruitment. Once you get a resume and you do the interview, and then the candidate gets into, and everything works automatically. So we didn't know what exactly things happen. In my times, we had two projects that we do. Like in your time, you have only one summer internship projects. We had two projects that we be doing. So the first project is something which we will not be doing. It is only where we will be going and sitting. For the 15 days, we will be observing the department. Then we have to submit a report and give a presentation. It was quite simple, as we had gone to the organization. It was very new and we thought like it's something very fancy. So I had joined a very service sector where I saw like the HR is not much into doing of anything, where they themselves were like recruitment ja raha hai, they do recruitment, then they do some kind of assessment of the employees. They see at what time the employees are coming. So I thought like, arey wow, this is a easy job of HR, and I took HR. When it came to a major summer internship that happened, I did my summer internship with Aditya Birla. It is one of the aluminum manufacturing. It was a core manufacturing company that we did it. On the first day, I thought like HR has to do the same thing of like see whether people are getting inside the organization, see whether the time, what is the time they are getting into, and how the things worked on. But when I actually was at the place, like we had, yours is 45 days, ours was 60 days of training. So, and it was very far away from my home. So I had stayed in that complex only. So I, along with some of my friends, so when we had gone to this manufacturing sector, the very first thing that the HR manager asked me is how much law you know. I was like, what law you are talking about? No, he said like you are in a manufacturing organization. No, so what is, how many laws you know? What are the laws you know? Like everything in manufacturing organization, we are governed by law. It is not something which we are, which like somebody comes in, somebody goes out, and then that's it. I was like, what law you are talking about? Then he gave me a law of Factories Act. The very first thing I saw in my life was Factories Act. So he said like, you read this Factories Act, you point out where are we working in terms of this Factories Act, and you give me a presentation. If you pass in that presentation, then you will start your project. So when I was reading through that Factories Act, it was more about like where the light system will be, where people will be sitting, at what time they will be coming, what their leaves will be. Like if it is a woman inside an organization, how many women should be inside the organization to have a facility of a crèche. if at all there are women employees in a company, then they have a separate act regarding to it. And somewhere it started defining the wage system, somewhere it defining the salary system. So everything I just needed to point it out. They gave me a file system and I have to point it out, like this is according to the law, this is according to the compliance. If compliance has not been met, then what are the actions has been taken. And a whole lot new universe came up and it opened up, and I was lost, like, my god, I didn't know this is what HR is. Anyway, that is where we decided and understood that it is not only a subject that we are reading in a book, that we are doing it. When you go to organization, practically when you go to organization, nobody is going to ask you what is the definition of marketing that has been given by Kotler. Nobody. They are only going to ask you like how you are going to do a marketing. It is just like you understand a concept of marketing in your semester, you understand the concept of marketing what your professor had taught you, but then you are going to apply all those concepts over there, and then you will be setting up your you'll be starting your whatever MBA studies you have read about, you'll be starting it to your all practical operations over there. So when you're finding a career opportunities, like you have to be very clear where you are starting on. Even if it is a very short period, even if it is a very short stint, it will actually give you, before you start your professional life, it will actually give you what exactly you are into, what exactly you will be looking into. The third stage in career planning is setting goals in personal and professional life. When we talk about setting goals in personal and professional life, this is a basic career planning stage. And whenever there is a recruitment, every recruiter loves to ask this question, like 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, where do you see yourself? And your answer will be a blend of personal as well as professional life. Okay, so setting goals in the personal life is like you have to check a range of career opportunities that is available with the skill set and knowledge you have. Like currently you are a fresher, but then what skill set you have is important. Like some of you might be having a good leadership skill, some of you might be having a good maybe a good team player, some of you might be having a good communication. So you need to understand what your skill set is, and according to your skill set you will be looking for a job. Now somebody who is in a very good communication would always like to go into such kind of profile, or who would like to go into such kind of organization which the skill set will be valued for. So you have to understand your skill set and knowledge, and you have to look out for a job according to that. Like when you are looking for a job, or when you are trying to do some kind of research and information gathering, or you have start looking for multiple sources like your friends or your colleagues or your co-workers, or you start looking for in potential job seekers. Like all of you right now are potential job seekers, bearing the few who are already working. So what you do is like, where are the opportunities? Kahan pe opportunity hai? Suppose I know that one of you is looking for a marketing opportunity in a bank, then I can always say you, "Arey, us bank mein there is an opportunity, apply karna hai to kar lo." Okay, so this is what your setting of your goals and personal and professional life is like. Which is the target organization and how you are going to get inside the organization. Once you are that organization, how you are going to grow. The next one is your goal setting. Goal setting is actually like where sorry,
career planning का slide दिख रहा है.
This is your management responsibilities. Like as and when I discuss and go forward, आपका वो slides पे चलता जाएगा. For the time being, listen to it. This is what I am telling you right now. Okay, so whenever it comes to goal setting, it is like a process. It is just like where one goes under a period of self-assessment and investigates, and like what are the career opportunities you have. If you are looking for, suppose someone who has taken marketing. See, marketing, it has different forms of marketing. It can either be a direct sales where you are, it's a hardcore sell, or you are into promotional activities, or you are into the like market research kind of thing, or you are into analyzing the competitors, analyzing the strategies, marketing strategy kind of role. So you have to understand like what is your goal setting, where exactly you are going to keep a check, or what is your viable future, or where you are your personal interest and abilities and skills are matching with that job thing. The next one is your action planning. Action planning is where like You have achieved a goal. Now what next? Like what next? Additional training you will be getting, what managerial skills that you need to develop, and how you will be talking about talking to your senior employees. What will be the coaching, mentoring kind of thing that you will be now working? What are the various dynamics in the working sphere? And then there is a periodic evaluation, and like where you, this is a final step, whether you have achieved the organization, like where you have achieved or you have plan whatever you have planned out, whether you have achieved it or not. This is what you're called as your performance planning. Whatever this is written over here, I just give you a brief description of all these things. Now what is the management responsibilities? Every career planning process is where you have a one-to-one discussion with your manager, like where you want to see how your career targets and what skill sets you have, how you are going to improve them. You have to assess the realism of employees plan. Now suppose employees plan matlab, like today if you tell me like 5 years down the line I will be a CEO of a company, well this is not a realistic plan actually. Until and unless you have set up that company, you will be a CEO. If you have not set up a company if it is a somebody else company, you cannot be a CEO. So you have to see how realistic your employees plan is. Like somebody who says like who has just entered now will be telling like somebody who is an assistant manager profile will be saying like 5 years down the line I will be a manager, which is totally unrealistic. That they have to be a realistic check of the employees plan. Like every management, they has to provide information regarding what will be the promotion process, what are the career planning resources, where the organizations can help them in getting the skill set, like what will be the development opportunities, what will be the training programs, what will be the rotation assignments. This is how like there are many companies like Tata. They are into like people who have an engineering background and have a very stable job for the last 5 years. They are now in tie-up with Symbiosis. They are now offering MBA programs to them, like a 2-year full-time MBA program to their own staff, which will ensure that apart from the technical capabilities of those engineers, they also have a managerial capability. So this is how employees are doing. Changing nature of careers is more about like this is a legal talking about. Employment contract is whether you are a temporary employee or a permanent employee. If you are a temporary employee, you are with which company, and if you are a permanent employee, then what is your career defined paths. Now this is early and delayed retirement is something which is very focused in today's world. Today many of the executives are planning for early retirement. Early retirement matlab abhi jo mindset hai logon ka, they are planning that by 45 they will retire from the job. By 45 they will retire from 9 to 5 job. Okay. Then there is a concept called as delayed retirement. Like by 60, when people are retiring a job and they are very much experienced and they are very good players in the market, they again join in the job as a consultant, not as a full-time employee, but as a consultant, where they undertake special projects, and then they are and then they are like they are again involved in that company. Like there is not kind of any situation where they have left the company. I'll give you an example. Like Ola Electric is right now planning for a very big launch in the market. Today it has come up with its 2-wheeler. Very soon it will be coming up with its 4-wheeler. Now what Ola Electric has done is it has tried to rope in many of the consultants who have understood the market. Many of the consultants who were earlier working with this automobile companies जिनका retirement हो गया है. So Ola Electric has recruited them as consultants. They are not employees, permanent employees, but they will work on the basis of projects that they will be getting. This actually is done by many of the companies, including Tata, including Mahindra. Mahindra, what it does is when it comes to administration purpose, it re-recruits the people who have retired from army. Okay, so they keep them as consultants, and these people they work on the basis of project to project. So there is nothing kind of retirement from the current job, though it is shown in the paper. But then they work after 60 and they work up to 70, 75 or till their health issues permits them. So this is a concept of delayed retirement. This early retirement is some concept which has not started in India, but it has very well started in US, where people have started retiring by 45, and they after retirement they have started pursuing doing their own thing. Like if you remember your Maslow's hierarchy of theory, आपका जो self actualization सबसे top में था, this early retirement kind of thing is associated with that thing, and this delayed retirement is also associated with self actualization.
Yes, ma'am.
Move to the next part. Importance of career planning to organizations. Of course, every career planning, every organization has to make this career planning. This is one important stage, one important part in career planning. Like there are 4 stages of career planning. One is the exploration stage, establishment stage, maintenance stage, and late career stage. You people are currently in the exploration stage. Like the first is you have to understand the task needs. What are the needs what are the needs of that task? Like what is the experience that is required in performing that task? What is the self assessment, whether you have the requisite skills, you have the requisite personality for that task, and whether you have made that right choice or not. Okay, for example, if there is if there is any introvert in the class, for example, any one of you who is an introvert, and then we push him that you take this marketing profile. Anyone who is an introvert in the class, and then we push him that you take that marketing profile. Now being an introvert, it is very difficult to be sustaining in the market. Like it's very difficult to be in the market itself. You need to talk with the people, you need to make networking, you need to make contacts, and introverts are a bit shy in that matter. So when it comes to exploration stage, it is the first stage where you understand what your personality type is and whether you are really going to do that job or not. There are people who in the hope like yes, we are getting an opportunity, yes, we are getting a job. They don't see what exactly that job is, they don't see whether they are they are actually suited for the job, and they go to that job. तो क्या होता है, 3 महीने में 6 महीने में वो लोग छोड़ के आ जाते हैं, and then they are again like they will be searching for that job. So in this exploration stage you need to look out for जॉब क्या है, आप क्या हो, लाइक आपका स्किल सेट मैच कर रहा है, जॉब का स्किल सेट रिक्वायरमेंट मैच कर रहा है, वेदर यू आर द राइट फिट फॉर द जॉब और नॉट. एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू द सोशल इमोशनल नीड्स, वन इज योर ऑक्यूपेशनल सेल्फ इमेज, जो कि आप लोगों में बहुत भर भर के है. ऑक्यूपेशनल सेल्फ इमेज इज दैट यू हैव डन अ मास्टर्स डिग्री प्रोग्राम. नाउ यू आर offered a job in the price in a range of 10,000 to 12,000. No, I am an 12,000. Self images. Now, for example, you are a management graduate and you have been joining in an organization as assistant manager in the salary range of 12,000. You'll very happily take. Whenever you say manager in a particular company. Now you are an MBA graduate. Suppose you have been taken in a company as an executive. You're a junior level executive, you'll straightway put it down like, no, as an MBA, I'll not be working as a junior level executive. So that is what your occupational self-image is. Second is if you're like if happy with the job, there are people who are very happy with the job and they go to their comfort area में चले जाते हैं, and they plan on settling down in that job. Like even if it is a slow movement, even if it is a the rhythm of the job is same as the rhythm of the life, they plan on settling it down. So this is what your exploration stage is. Second one is your establishment stage. This was like after 2 years of experience in a job. This is actually 0 to 2 years. This is 2 to 7 years. Establishment stage where you are settling down. Like you understand the task needs, you know how the task has to be done, you know, understand what are the challenging roles that you have to do in that job. Once you are into like to एक्सप्लोर न्यू एरियाज, पुराना जॉब का एक्सक्यूज मी इनिशियली आप जो एजुकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन था वो आउटडेटेड हो गया है. नाउ यू नीड टू मेक एन अपडेटेड. नाउ you need to be under someone's coaching and mentoring, someone who will be mentoring you and will be guiding you to take this take you into the is a midlife crisis that happened, like whether you are going to give time to your family or whether you are going to give time to your job for your growth. You have to rethink which one comes first, whether it is work that comes first or whether it is family that comes first. This is around 7 to 15 years of experience. This I am going through this maintenance stage right now. Then you have your late career stage. Late career stage is where now you need to remain productive. You have to plan for retirement. It's 15 years and beyond. Then you have to like understand where your power has shifted, like whether it is a role of power or whether it is a role of guidance. And then you need to understand you need years of my life to this job. What next after my job? So you need to re-envision your work. You need to develop an identity outside that work, not inside that work. You have to develop an identity outside that work. So this is where you are planning to hand over all your responsibilities to your successor and move down. Now you have done with career planning. Next, after career planning, there is a concept called as succession planning. Now for succession planning, yes. Now for succession planning, before giving you a theoretical background of succession planning, I'll give you 4 cases of succession planning. Like you people know Axis Bank, right? Axis Bank sabko pata hai, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Axis Bank, when this person called as Nayak, Pangal Nayak, when he took over Axis Bank in 2000, January 1st, 2000, he worked as the CMD. Okay, CMD of Axis Bank, and he worked for around 9 years from say January 1 to April 2009. So during that time, he took Axis Bank to a whole new level. Like Axis Bank was newly entering into the market earlier in the year of 2000. People were not easily having a belief on this private sector banks, because they were very much used to all kinds of public sector banks of state, like State Bank of India, Union Bank, all kind of public sector banks. So they were not very easily accepting that this private sector bank will play a role of this public sector banks, because they were almost giving the same benefits as the public sector banks, but then a little higher. The interest rate was quite higher. So when Axis Bank came up during that 2000 era, people were not ready to accept that there is a private sector bank which is a player with the public sector banks. But then if you see the results of Axis Bank, analysts said, like, for a bank who is in a private sector, it totally paced a new height under the leadership of Nayak. But then Nayak was supposed to retire in 2009. This was something which was earlier planned. By 2009, Nayak has not decided on who would be the successor, because at that time Axis Bank was ruling the roost. It had almost taken over the salary accounts of every private sector companies. Like at that time, having a salary account with Axis Bank was something very high thing. Like it is a profit kind of venture for the Axis Bank. So they initiated the succession planning, but the board of the directors, they couldn't identify anyone who would be a successor to Nayak. So what they did is they identified one of the international consultancies, basically known as Egon Zehnder. Egon Zehnder is it is an international consultancy, HR consultancy, which works with companies in identifying issues which the companies cannot solve themselves. So Egon Zehnder was hired. People from Egon Zehnder came up and they started making speculations. They started analyzing each of the internal people on the basis of succession planning. But then they submitted a report that they were not able to identify a single internal person who would be a successor to Nayak. But then they if it is an external candidate, at that time it was Shikha Sharma. Shikha Sharma was the CEO of ICICI Prudential Life Insurance Company. So they zeroed in that this person will be the best person to take over Axis Bank. But then Shikha Sharma was somebody who was not in the banking sector. She was in the life insurance sector. Though at that time she was heading the ICICI Life Insurance, Prudential Life Insurance, she was not into the banking sector. This decision was severely opposed by Naik himself because he wanted that somebody from the inside should have succeeded him. But then he had not taken any chance. He had not planned any successor from the internal sources. But then to Naik's disbelief, Sharma joined Axis Bank in 2009, and the major responsibility came up on Sharma was to scale the similar new heights what Naik has done. But then she didn't have any kind of Sharma didn't have any kind of banking experience. So she, for the first 2 years, she was given a total thorough banking experience. She was asked to attend the board meeting. The board gave a go ahead that the Sharma should be appointed, and she was totally given a position of an observer. And Naik was after 2009, Naik was the person who was handling through Sharma. मतलब शर्मा को दिया गया था. Shikha Sharma was handling the banking things. She has no experience, but it was Naik who was guiding. And when Sharma took over in 2011, Axis Bank scaled to more new heights because Axis Bank as a bank it has established itself, but uska jo insurance wing tha, Sharma took that as a challenge, and then she scaled it to a very newer heights. In 2015-16, Axis Bank was one of the leading banks. It has even cut ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank was the first bank in private sector, and it was the most popular. But then by 2015-16, Axis Bank crossed ICICI Bank even. By that time, there were many private sector banks even. Today, it's HDFC Bank which is leading. Okay, so this is one case of succession planning which went wrong because they couldn't identify anyone from inside and they hired some person from outside, but then thank God succession planning did work for them. The other issue which is very popular with all you guys and you must be knowing is of the Tata case. Like Tata was initially founded by Jamsetji Tata, and when Ratan Tata entered Tata company, he was entered as a non-executive, and he entered the company somewhere in around like 1991 mein he took over na. So we say like 3 decades. 1969 he entered Tata as a non-executive. He worked in the Tata company for 30 years before getting a position of what he is right now. Okay. So like in 1991, when Tata was actually declared as to be the whole in all of this Tata, he had understood that company for 30 years as he was working. So he had totally understood the company of how this company works out. Like he understood the company inside and out. But when in 2005 it was declared that he will be replaced, there will be a successor of Ratan Tata. There were many names that came up. You might have heard about Indira Nooyi, the Pepsi CEO. She was also in the race of succeeding Tata. Indira Nooyi, then Noel Tata, brother of Ratan Tata, Arun Sarin, Anshu Jain. All of them had come up, but then Cyrus Mistry was chosen as the person to lead the group because of his age. Actually, he was younger, and he was a major shareholder in the Tata Group, and he was also the managing director of Sapurji Palanji Construction, which is a very popular Tata family wing. But then his kind of leadership, like the leadership that Tata has set up, and his kind of Mistry's leadership didn't go well with the people in that board. Like Mistry was a younger version, so his was like to bring every young leader into the board of directors, and he made a decision of selling UK steel business jo tha na. He made a decision of selling that. If you remember, there was a Tata का भी खुद का एक phone का connection था, Docomo बोल के, Tata Docomo.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, phone wing उनका था. तो what he did is there was a very big public spat regarding the Tata Docomo. So here there was a loss of governance inside the Tata company, and he was thrown out. And you know what happened after that. He lost confidence of the board of directors, and he was immediately thrown out of Tata. And regarding that case that he had made against Tata, he lost that case. Second is the case of whom? Narayan Murthy, Infosys. Now, Infosys was something which was built by three people that you might have known, like who are the three people. Now, today it is a company which is like governed with high standards of governance, and it's like a high ethical standards. Okay, so when Narayan Murthy started retiring and he wanted to go back, they wanted someone among themselves. वो जो तीन लोग थे उनमें से they wanted someone who would be replacing Narayan Murthy, and the new board which was comprised of, they started selecting Vishal Sikka as one of the core. He was a core promoter, so they selected Vishal Sikka, who will be replacing Narayan Murthy. But then when Sikka actually took over the company, like in the IT industry, during that time, this is a very well-known thing, there was a higher, क्या बोलते हैं, attrition rate in Infosys. Like there were people were leaving that company was like anything. Every day they were getting a bunch of resignation letters, and performance of Sikka was good, but then his style of functioning and his leadership was an issue. Like people who were the core promoters, they couldn't handle his functioning. And indirectly, whatever decisions were taken, it was opposed by the board, opposed by the core promoters. What happened? Sikka, in a year, he left the company, he left the board of members. All the board of members, they quit. Okay, Narayan Murthy became so insecure, like it was so much of governance issues, and the entire board had started, like entire board was supporting Sikka. And when Sikka resigned, entire board also resigned. So a very big fiasco came up. Employees were uncertain. They didn't know whom to move to, what to move to, and there was a higher retention rate. So here they started grooming someone into, like they brought someone into, they started grooming, and then this is what Infosys is right now. The succession planning over Vishal Sikka has gone wrong in case of Narayan Murthy. There is another case study. Now, the fourth case study that we'll be saying, it is of Raymonds. Now, this is a case study. It is a very, this is something which you people might not have heard about. This is a very classic case actually, very Purana case. Like before the succession planning term crop up, even this kind of thing has happened. Like Raymond is basically known as the Singhania family. In 1987, they had a very big family dispute where they were divided into three groups on the basis of their wealth. Okay, three groups, matlab three groups, in one group in Mumbai, one group in Kanpur, one other group in Kolkata. So this was an issue regarding a property in Juhu. तो ये कैसे हुआ? ये जो तीन ग्रुप में डिवाइड हो गया था, everybody wanted a property in Juhu, everybody wanted that property in Mumbai. So the original Singhania, Vijaypad Singhania, and his brothers, they also came up with a family litigation, and then Dr. Singhania's son left out his family, left out his rights, brought a new home, he brought up his children over there. वो पूरा वो family ही छोड़ के, वो business ही छोड़ के चले आए. जो Raymond बोल के उस time पे establish हुआ था, it started plunging down, like it started going down. Raymond को as such head करने के लिए कोई नहीं थे. Like prior to 2002 na, there was no concept of Raymond. Though it is a very old company of 1987, prior to 2002, there was no concept of Raymond even. But in 2002, जब वो family का settlement होने लगा, litigation वगैरह solve होने लगा, they started reviving this Raymond. रेमोंड को रिवाइव करना स्टार्ट किए. इनिशियल बेसिस पे जब उसको स्टार्ट करने का कोशिश कर रहे थे, लाइक देयर वर सो मेनी कंपनीज दैट हैज एंटर्ड इनटू द मार्केट. कंपनीज लाइक पीटर इंग्लैंड, कंपनीज लाइक बाहर के जितने सब कंपनीज थे वो आने लगे थे. तो दे स्टार्टेड रिवाइविंग रेमोंड. दे स्टार्टेड पुटिंग इट इन अ प्राइस रेंज. दे स्टार्टेड पुटिंग इट or they started portraying it as a executive brand, uska higher brand range leke wo enter karne lage though, and they started focusing that this is one company which is Indian born. Okay, and whatever, like they made an emotional appeal. They made an emotional appeal like this is what happened with us. This is a very famous case, like family litigation. Raymond को कौन success करेगा? As such कोई decide नहीं हुआ था. They started saying like we are Indian born. एंड फैमिली का प्रॉब्लम हर फैमिली के जैसे हमारे फैमिली में प्रॉब्लम हुआ था, एंड लाइक शेयर होल्डिंग का जो डिसीजन था बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स उन्होंने चेंज किए, and yes, Remont went into the market again, and today you see what Remont actually is. So these are the 4 cases of succession planning gone wrong actually that I'm talking about. When we talk about succession planning, it is just a process where every organization ensures that the employees that are recruited inside the organization are developed. Each time they are developed, so that they have to fill in a key role whenever there is a vacancy in the company. So this is like, if you look across all the organization, there is some form of succession planning. There is some, maybe not a detailed succession planning, but then some form of succession planning. An absence of succession planning in today's organization is a red flag. Even if when you go for audit, they also look for like who will be the successor of this firm. You need to have this planning maintained like broad, and you have to keep it in your safe, saying that this is the succession plan of a company. Why do we do succession planning? Because it is just a process where you are ensuring that suitable supply of successors are taking over the job on the current or the key jobs, and it is very essential to keep focus on planning and managing the career of the individuals. So whenever there is a vacancy, these key row positions, they have to be filled up from time to time, and it very much essential for the survival and success of an organization. Like why we do succession planning? Because there might be a resignation, there might be a retirement, there might be a promotion, there might be any unfortunate event that might happen. And there is another example of succession planning, that is of your Anu Aga, which I have forgotten. You might Google it, you might read it also. That is one succession planning gone wrong but made right. Initial stages it had gone wrong, but it was made right. You see what that company is today right now. Okay, so that is what your succession planning is all about, where there are senior leaders are involved. They are responsible for growing leaders, somebody who will be successing them, and success is based on the case studies, and it is based on a long-term needs, and it is based on the strategic planning and investment in the future. A whole new lot of workforce data has to be maintained and analyzed from time to time. A pool of talent has to be created, development has to be ensured, and our leaders have to make a partnership with the HR, where they need to address certain challenges such as diversity, recruitment, retention, all kinds of things. So we are done with your second unit. Tomorrow I'll start with your third unit. Okay, any doubts in today's class?
No, ma'am.
Anything more you need from me? Anything more you need from me? Shall I leave the class then?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.